Hi everyone, in this video I'll show you how to resize images in GIMP. So there are really just a few basic things to know about resizing images. How to resize the canvas and how to scale images and layers. These are all straightforward things to do, and once you've done it a couple of times you'll have no problem. Okay, first up is how to resize the canvas. Think of the canvas as the physical workspace dimensions your image has available. On the canvas you create layers, and often multiple layers, and all of this you'll eventually save as your image. Just like with a painting, the canvas is the maximum area you can paint on. So if I create a new image which has a width of 500 pixels and a 250 pixel height, that's the size of my canvas. You may have a much bigger or smaller image, in which case you may need to either zoom in or out in order to work with it properly. But zooming in or out doesn't change the actual size of the canvas. There are shortcut keys for zooming in and out, or you can choose to do it from the view menu if you prefer. But with this image I'm currently viewing, it's at its actual size. And as an example, I want to add some text to the canvas which says GIMP tutorial. Well, as you can see, the canvas isn't wide enough to display all of the text. I could just reduce the size of the font, but for this example, I'd really prefer to keep the font the size it is. So the only other alternative is to enlarge the canvas. And I do that by going to the menu, and under Image, we have the Canvas Size option. Clicking on that, we then get these options appear which allow us to fine-tune how we resize the canvas. You can choose the units of measurement, how to align the content which is already on the canvas, and how to handle the background of the extra piece of canvas you're creating. The numbers you see here are the current width and height of the image. You can define these in pixels or inches or centimeters or any number of other options. So we'll use the default measurement units, which are pixels, and I'll change the width of the canvas to 750. I'll also change the height to 280 pixels, and then we can fit some other text underneath if we need to. Then if we wanted, we could change the position of the existing image content relative to the new canvas size. So for instance, if I adjust these X and Y offsets, you can see how the existing content of the image moves left or right and up or down relative to the new, bigger canvas. Or you can just click on the center button to align everything right in the middle, which is what I'll do. There are also a couple of other options for layers at the bottom here. The defaults are none for resize layers and transparency for the fill with option. I'll click on resize and show you what happens. So as you can see, the canvas is bigger and the extra canvas has this checkered background, which means it's transparent, but the orange layer remained the same size. That would be okay for some things, but I want the whole image to have the same background color. So let's try that again. So I'll undo the resize and I'll select canvas size again from the menu. Okay, this time I'll use the same width and height as previously. I'm also going to center the text again, but at the bottom here I'll tell it to resize layers and use the current background color as the fill with option. Alright, so this time you can see that we've resized the canvas, and because we selected resize all layers, we also have the same background color for the entire canvas. And now we have room for some extra text. Now though our bigger canvas looks like it's just a bit too big. That's okay though, as we can just go back and reduce the canvas size to something more suitable. So back up to image and canvas size, and we'll make both the width and height a little smaller. And we can also use this little box here to make sure we're not cutting off any text, and move the image to exactly where we want within the new canvas size. Okay, that looks better. That was a pretty simple example, but hopefully you get the idea. Enlarging or reducing the canvas size doesn't scale the image content in any way, It just enlarges or reduces the canvas real estate you have to work with. Okay, secondly, just supposing we did want to magnify or reduce the scale of the image though. To do that, we use the Scale Image menu option under the Image menu item. For the most basic use, you probably don't need to worry about the X and Y resolution here. Those refer to the number of pixels per inch or per whatever measurement scale you're using. The defaults are fine for most things. Obviously, the greater the resolution, then the bigger the image will be when you save it. So all you need to do is enter the new size you want for the image, and your image content will scale accordingly. By default, the width and height scales are linked, so you'll maintain the same ratio of width to height when you scale the image. If you wanted to unlink the width and height ratio, you can just click on this little link symbol here, and you can enter separate numbers for each. You'll probably usually want to keep them linked though. This time we're going to change the width to 1000, and you'll see the numbers in the height box automatically update when I tab away from the box. Then just click on Scale. And this time, unlike when we changed the canvas size, you can see that the image content has also increased in size. And we can do the same thing to make it smaller too. So back to the Scale Image option from the menu. And this time we'll change the width to 250 pixels. And again, you can see that the image content and canvas size has scaled accordingly. And lastly, just suppose I have this image here and I want to paste in this logo. Well, I paste in the logo as a new layer, but now I realize that the logo is far too big for this particular image. If I scale the entire image, that doesn't really solve anything. So what I'll need to do is scale this logo layer instead. So to do that, rather than use the Scale Image tool from the Image menu, I use the Scale Layer option from the Layer menu. This is essentially the same tool as before, except it works on layers and you don't have the option for X and Y resolution. So let's make this layer a little smaller. Just enter the size you want the layer to be, then click on Scale. And there we go. That's better. Well, those are the basics of resizing images in GIMP. I hope you found some of those bits and pieces useful. Okay, that's about it for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
If you liked this video, please take a moment just to click the like and the subscribe buttons below. Your support is much appreciated. Thank you for watching.